So today, I wanted to talk about first topic is I'm sure you've been hearing about the writer strike and the actor strike that has happened in Hollywood. Is ongoing. Started at this point. I think the writer strike had been going on for 70 days or something already, and now the actors have went on strike as well. Um, and I wasn't paying much attention to it at first, but obviously now everyone is talking about it, so I really started kind of looking at it, and I found a couple of things I wanted to kind of just read a little bit and then get you guys' opinions on this. Looking at The Verge, says actors say Hollywood studios want their AI replicas for free forever. During today's press conference, in which Hollywood actors confirmed that they were going on strike, Duncan Crabtree, Ireland, SAG after chief negotiator, revealed a proposal from Hollywood studios that sounds ripped right out of a Black Mirror episode. In a statement about the strike, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said that its proposal included a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects actors' digital likenesses for SAG after members. So, when asked about this proposal during that press conference, Crabtree said, "This groundbreaking AI proposal that they gave us yesterday, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get 1 day's pay, and then the companies should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity on any project they want.
Oh,
With
did they use
no,
the word eternity? They use the word eternity.
at least that's what he says. On any project they want, with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that's groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again. Now, in response to this, the AMPTP spokesperson Scott Rowe sent out a statement denying these claims were made. And he says the claim made today by SAG-AFTRA leadership that the digital replicas of background actors may be used in perpetuity with no consent or compensation is false. In fact, the current AMPTP, what I'm gonna call them, proposal only permits a company to use the digital replica of a background actor in the motion picture for which the background actor is employed. Any other use requires the background actor's consent and bargaining for the use subject to a minimum payment. Now, somebody's lying because there's no way you would mistakenly say they can use the likeness without your consent with no pay, but they said that you could. I mean, somebody's outright, in my opinion, somebody's lying about this.
I
With all
think
that said, go ahead. I want to just kind of just on this angle alone, what do you guys think about this?
the actor side are putting extras on it, but I absolutely do believe that the producer side absolutely wants to get those rights to the characters, but I can't see them trying to get away with using it in perpetuity without paying them. But as we all know, I mean, we've seen in the music industry and we've seen in the film and television industry, if they can get away with using the content that you were in without paying you, they will do that. I mean, at this point, um, how much money were those Gilligan's Island people getting? And they were making the people who owned that were making hundreds of millions of dollars off of that annually. People came at the Friends cast for demanding $1 million an episode. They're probably underpaid now, considering how much money I think it's Warner Brother who owns it is making off of that through streaming rights. So I I think they're putting extras on it, but I don't put anything by them.
Okay, what do you think, Q?
Well, when I was, and I have to say, as of now, I'm fully out of the video and film business, but so I get another gig. But when I was hiring people, their agents would have me pay them a day rate plus an agent fee, which is generally 10%, and uh, they would sign a contract saying we could use their likeness or their image for a certain amount of time. I think it was generally 2 years. which even then I was paying roughly $600. I would think, damn, that's peanuts for 2 years. But hey, that was the market. So I don't know why they're going. And it's the same thing with needle drops for music. You pay a certain fee every time you either pay a fee for a needle drop, or you pay a licensing fee for a certain amount of years, or as we got into maybe in the last 15 years, you could pay a licensing fee or subscription fee for a whole library. So that subscription fee for the whole library, that was a monthly fee. In other words, what I'm saying is the revenue needs to be, I don't know what the term is. It needs to be recurring. I don't know where they got in their mind. They could try to get people to sign over their likeness for probably chump change, and they get to use it, like my man said, for eternity. I mean, damn, no, that's not right.
There used to be a term, I don't know if they still use it in the music business. When you get a recording contract, you get to say in the known universe, like we own the music, not just here, but in the known universe. I always just thought that was so funny. Like, damn, what? So that means if someday we out there, they still own it. Like, there's no renegotiations on Pluto's airwaves or something. But
that's like when they be broadcasting JT Taylor to the aliens,
right?
And we find the aliens, they're up there discoing and partying and shit. JT ain't got.
They're like, even when the aliens, they ain't paying no streaming, they ain't paying nothing either. They just giving us the money. But I don't know. I could see them saying something like that. Like Ant said, if allowed, I'm sure. Yeah, like, because I mean, there was really no consideration, or maybe they didn't know at the time in terms of what streaming was to music, and we see that what that has done to that industry. And I think the AI part is just one part of what all the other stuff that's going on. But I think it is important for them to figure it out, or at least for the workers to make a stand about it. Because I think if you don't, what will happen to these actors and writers will be the same thing as happened to the songwriters, the performers of music. There is a streaming model, and you're going to get paid, but you're going to get paid, pennies to a dollar, if that might even be too much, right? Like, you're going to get a little 10-cent check or something like that. And I think we've been seeing some actors are posting the residual checks, royalty checks they've been getting from streaming, and it'd be like $3 or something crazy.
I was about to ask you this, but I remember y'all deleted it because y'all got moral, whatever. TikTok, if you hashtag residual checks, you will see actor after actor, writer after writer posting their $3 check, their $1.65 check. I think I dropped it in the Discord. There was a check from Naaman from The Wire. He had a $1.65 check for The Wire.
Right.
And he was just saying how when there were DVD sales, the check was a lot bigger. But now with streaming, you're not getting that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think obviously there's some money being generated from the streaming. I guess the question is, how do they determine, one, what is the number of people that are watching these shows? And I think traditionally these companies don't release those numbers. So how do the actors or their agents or whoever, how do they account for, okay, they watched this many views of this episode that you were in on streaming, if those companies don't even report those numbers? And then if they do report those numbers, how do they determine the royalty rate, to where it's fair, so you're not getting the $3 check or something like that?
And I believe that's why these corporations love this, because it's hard to put a quantifiable number on certain things. You're saying this is the high. First of all, Netflix, they don't even report publicly, unless it's in certain cases, how many what the viewing numbers are for certain things. So if they're not putting it to the public, can you imagine what hoops these actors and writers have to jump through to find out? And then when you find out, 70 million, they say 70 million views. But at the same time, as we see with YouTube, What does that really mean? 70 million views, 70 million people watched it. We all know that's not the case. 70 million times it has been watched, and they can just go about and do the manipulation with the accounting to get it favorably in their and put it in their favor. And the thing is that I think the writers and the actors need to take a step back and probably demand what we want to know what the quantifiable numbers are for these things, and put a dollar amount of what each view is, so that way, much like back in the day with the recording industry, we get 1 point or 2 points on a record sale. We want the same amount on the view.
Right. Yep.
The hard part is that, as we've seen with Peacock and HBO Max and even Disney Plus, is that the new stuff isn't getting a larger share of views compared to their existing stuff. So during this strike, Disney, HBO, WBD, Comcast, Netflix, they gonna be all right, because if we ain't got no new stuff coming in, they were already making so much money off the old catalog of stuff and IPs that they have. It's the newer stuff that's coming, and then on top of that, you got to get promoted. It's got to get awareness, and if they don't want to, they can really sabotage these things.
Who could sabotage it?
Yeah, corporations, because they can always sit back and say, I mean, if you're WBD, yeah, we don't need to really push hard on this new. Let's take, for example, White Lotus or Succession, because our metrics are showing that the majority of our subscribers, they're watching The Sopranos, they're watching The Wire, they're watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. So we don't have to do all that, and we can push it all back because we're getting that monthly subscription, and on top of that, the residuals, because the newer stuff, people are trying to put that in their contract to get those residuals when they're streaming, versus the old stuff where they wasn't there. There's probably a higher profit margin on the older stuff, and they don't have to put the money into promoting it in order to get the views.
Yeah, I could see that. I think, though, without the churn of new product, though, you become stagnant, and are you going to gain subscribers if you're not able to produce newer stuff? It's just
I don't know. When I go on the internet, I go on my phone with the feeds and all that. All the stuff I'm seeing they're pushing is the new stuff. That's how I knew about Extraction, and I watched that Extraction 2. I know The Boys is coming out next season. I don't really see a lot of promotion for the older stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they. Yeah, I don't. I think he's saying what they could do if the strike can continue. Is that what you meant, Ant? Or that's like a strategy they could possibly do?
No. What I was saying is that they have this new content. In order to get the views, in order to get the high ROI, they have to put the marketing and the advertising behind it.
Right.
But if the strike is going on, it kind of benefits them because they're saving so much money on their marketing budget, on their advertising budget, and whatnot. And I'm sure when you look at some of the streams, like Friends being one of the most streamed shows of all time, The Office, Big Bang Theory, they can sit back like, well, if that's where the majority of our views are coming from, our subscribers, for this old content, we gonna save money and not really push out this new stuff until we get y'all on code or in line.
Okay,
It saves the money.
Part of the fight is the royalty payments from those old shows on streaming, though, right? So that's part of the reason why they're striking. So they can't really win on that. Like, I think, one of the things I wonder what's going to happen if this plays out over time is the perception from the audience's point of view of this stuff going on. It's almost seems inescapable for it not to be in the news and being talked about, particularly when everything is going to have to halt and the actors can no longer promote these new movies about to come out. People are going to wonder why they're not seeing such and such. And I think, unlike the other times when they had these strikes, we have the internet now. and everybody, the actors, can get online and say, well, here's my point of view and this is what's going on. I think that could work to the detriment to those companies. The public awareness, this is going to play out probably in the court of public arena more so than it would play out in the courts or behind the scenes, because somebody's going to get pressure. Both sides could get pressured, but I think that the audience may jump to the side of the actors as opposed to some big conglomerate. And the other one I wanted to throw into this conversation about the Writers Guild, was a report that came out on Deadline a couple of days ago. I'm gonna read a little bit here. It says, receiving positive feedback from Wall Street since the WGA went on strike May 2nd, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Paramount, and others have become determined to break the WGA, as one studio exec blatantly put it. To do so, the studios in the AMPTP believe that by October, most writers will be running out of money after 5 months on the picket lines and no work. Here's a quote. It says, the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their homes, the studio executive told Deadline. Acknowledging the cold as ice approach, several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it a cruel but necessary evil. Stories like this getting out, where they're saying that they want people to lose their homes and apartments, and then they'll come back. That's not a good look. But to me, it's not a good look, but it's also to show you like they're really on there. This is a business. And I think unlike some of the record companies and some of the studios back in the day, these companies now are really multi-billion-dollar. Some are tech companies and some are just these super corporations that they don't deal with the artistic side as much as they have to deal with shareholders and the best interest of this company. And they'll fire you if they have to, which we've seen that happen with just regular people with all these layoffs, but we don't never know who those people are. Now, these actors that people have been following and idolizing for so much, they have so much more weight. So if they come out and tell you, yeah, they're trying to starve us out, you're going to pay, the consumer is going to pay attention more so than they would for, like the Amazon worker fainting in a warehouse or something. Like, we don't care about that. But I wonder if now we'll be caring about this type of stuff. And if the tide sort of turns to be like, I don't like this. So what do you guys think about it? These added comments?
I'm just trying to unmute myself. That's a cold piece of work right there, boy. They said, well, when they start losing their homes and their apartments, the mortgage payments,
when the money gets low,
you know what you're negotiating with. It might be time to find new work.
Here's what they think about you.
Damn.
All right, so thank you for checking out that video. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Work it like a job. Peace.